This week we wrestled with some decisions on paint color for our feature wall.
Did we make a decision? No, I don't know.
It's paint, we can always paint over it.
Yeah.
A lot of people have asked what we're going to do with this area between the wall and the ceiling, and can finally reveal our master plan for the trim between the ceiling and the walls. That'll give you a little hint. But unfortunately, we also had some heartbreak and lost a member of the family.
We're Mela and Don.
We uprooted our lives and left Los Angeles
With the dream of converting an MCI D3 40-foot bus into a tiny home on wheels. We are sharing our progress.
one bite at a time.
What?
How to eat an elephant one bite at a time.
We're gonna do a little stain test. We have no idea what we're gonna do with some of the walls around the bed area and whether we should paint it or use stains. We're gonna do a stain test and then you can tell us what you think. This isn't sanded too, so it's not gonna go on
Right.
super nice.
Yeah, but at least give us an idea
just,
what it'll
yeah.
look like.
Yeah, that might actually be nice, huh?
Mhm.
Huh, honey?
Yeah, it definitely works with this now. You can see that color in here. The more we talked about the wall and looking at the colors we want to put into the round woodcut mural, we wanted it all to kind of blend together, both when the bed is down and when the bed is up. I really felt like we needed to be very careful with the warm colors we choose, because the ones we tested felt very orangey to me, and I didn't like the way they went with the other stuff. I also felt like it didn't need to dominate. The other thing that we had to consider a lot is that because of the wall and the insides of our bedside towers, they're going to get a little scuffed because we're going to be putting water bottles, banging into them, putting iPads in. So they're just going to, if it was all white, we would see it right away when it got scuffed. But I'm really liking the gray, and I think the warm will work nicely for the mural. Now we're going to see what Mela thinks.
But I think we gotta take it inside and we gotta go get the other colors. We gotta see it all together, so.
But before we do any testing or checking, we're gonna wrap our brand new mattress up and get it protected and out of the way. And hopefully we'll be back sleeping in the bus soon.
So we're gonna have a mural made out of these little cookies that we're going to put right here on the bed. When it's up, it's kind of a decorative thing. So those guys are for sure, right? Just a plain light one. This says walnut. And then we've been struggling with the third color. That was the vote that everybody voted for on Instagram as the favorite, maple. And I kind of like the maple, but Don doesn't. He thinks it's too orange. This is our new one. What was this called, Don? Ipswich Pine?
Mm-hmm.
So Don likes that one. It's less orange. And then we brought some gray into the mix. I'm not crazy about the gray, but if it's kind of mixed with the other colors, maybe it's okay. What do you think?
And one of the reasons I think that we would use the gray is if we went with a gray wall. So we've got some paint samples as well as some gray stain. And I'm really leaning towards the gray myself. Looking at it, I like the gray stain, but I almost think that it'd be better to just have it paint because it would be clean and sealed and easy to just wipe off.
And I also was like, what if we warm it up? We're getting a lot of cold colors in here. And I was like, let's go for a more like burnt sienna. So that would be on this wall. There's also, it goes like behind here. So this wall behind these cabinets, so you can see them in these little shelves. And there's a little strip of wood on the side that would also be that color. But I do think that would be a little too intense. Now that I'm kind of looking at it in the space, it would be a lot. It would be very intense. But I just was worried that all the gray was just going to be very cold.
I think that it would work because then the feature wall as gray lets the natural wood color shine and it lets it become the warmth.
So we picked up the stains thinking we were getting stains just for the mural, and I actually really like it. This would be, so you still see the wood and it's not just a gray color, you could still see the grain of wood underneath, and that would be our warmer option. We could do the pine as the warmer option or the gray. Back there we've got the different kind of plywood, so it has a little more texture to it.
We looked at a bunch of mock-ups in the computer making this wall all kinds of colors. And I did like a blue, and Mela didn't want the blue, so we moved on from there.
Yeah, no blue. I think we're both agreeing we like the gray, right? What I'm concerned about is all our pocket holes. Dawn, don't you think if we do the stain it's going to all stick out?
I think the stain, you'll see where the pocket holes are.
But if we do paint, we'll be able to cover it up
I think
better.
it'll cover it. After a lot of deliberation, we're leaning towards gray paint.
This one is lighter and more silvery. This one's darker, but they're still pretty light colors. Did we make a decision? No, I don't know.
It's paint, we can always paint over it.
Yeah, we made a decision about this wall. It's gonna be this color, chromed. We figured out a lot of things in our hardware store visit yesterday. So we got these little hinges, which we're gonna put onto the cabinet doors for the upper bed cabinet. So these hinges that we bought feel like they're pretty stiff. Like when you open it up, it feels like it'll just hold the door open. We'll have to see. I mean, they're going to be pretty light, so I feel like that hinge itself might hold the door open. But if we put it on and it doesn't hold the door open, then we'll go get some gas strut lifts to hold the door open. And the knob to open it with. You may remember from my previous video that I was wanting to put cane webbing inside of these frames, and Dawn was a little bit anti it. But I found cane webbing that is still its natural color. Very often it's bleached, so it's that very light, not completely white, but it's very, very light. And I found out that's what Dawn doesn't like about it so much. And I found a natural one. So it's got a little bit of different colors in it almost. It looks natural, and that one he has gone for, so we've ordered it. But it's coming from Vietnam, and it's going to be a little while, a month or so before it gets here, so can't quite completely finish these yet, but I am going to put some varnish, some sealant on these. Gonna look great when they are done, but we obviously still have a lot more finishing work to do on this bed before we can move back in and sleep in the bus.
A lot of people have asked what we're going to do with this area between the wall and the ceiling. Just doing a test here. That'll give you a little hint. And you're gonna screw this into there. Sometimes it's difficult to carry a bunch of wood and a tripod. I'm more worried about stepping in dog poop though, to be honest. Got it complete. And I don't want to sound like a complainer, but everything takes 2, 3, 4 times as long as you anticipate it. I broke 3 drill bits off the end of my 86-degree drill bit. And then one of my beams was too bowed, so I had to remove it and replace it. But it's up there now on half of the coach, and that's the main part where the trim is going to go.
Everything we're using here is from LED Supply. The reason we went with them is that it all looks like really good quality stuff without going into like the ridiculously expensive line. We already have our overhead lights, but we wanted to get some mood lighting too, so we got some LED strip lights. You can get them in really long sizes, and you can also get them in smaller sizes. The way it's all set up is everything has male and female plugs. So you can have your lights split off into 3 different sections, or you can connect a little switch to it. Which also means you can string together multiple strips if you want to just extend your length to be super long. What's really cool is you can also get an RF receiver so that you can use a little remote to control your lights. They also have these aluminum corner mounts, which is what we're going to use so that we can put it in the corner but lay our strip lights nice and flat. And then we're going to put this opaque diffuser over to cover it, which will create a nice soft look to the lights. Because all of this comes with male and female ends, you can't plug this directly into our house power. So we got these little adapters that we can put on, like that, and now we can connect it to our house power.
So today I'm going to put our mounts into our side rails so we can put our LED lights up. We want to say a huge thank you to LED Supply for partnering with us for this video. We'll include a link over to LED Supply in the description below. it wired up and the remote is in. Look at this. Off, on, dim, right, 100% on, and 50% on, and 25% on. They all seem to be working. Unfortunately, when I did my measurements, I did them wrong. So as you can see, I've only got enough of the aluminum channeling to go halfway down the bus, so that means I have to order some more. Alright, I got a plan to go ahead and finally put up that barnwood trim that goes all the way down the side. I can only put up half of it right now because I still need to order some more tracks for the LED strips. I went ahead and measured out and used a 82-degree drill bit so that I could bury my screws in the wood. And then we're going to have some wood plugs that are on the way right now, and we'll stain them with the espresso stain so they should go right in there and cover up those holes. The other advantage of having this is at any time we can pop those plugs out and then unscrew the barnwood panels that we have up there so we can get access if we ever want to change anything out or if we ever want to put new light switches in or anything like that. Half a day of work for that area between the wall and the ceiling. We've got half of it done on one side of the bus.
Our luggage bays down below do have lights in them, but they're set up to the bus's electrical system, which means we'd have to have the bus batteries on in order to get the luggage bay lights to switch on. We found that LED Supply has a motion activated switch, which means we can connect this to our house batteries. So anytime we go to open the luggage bays, this will sense the motion and turn on some lights. There is also the option of using this battery pack. If we don't want to connect it to our house batteries, we can just use like AA batteries in here to power it.
When we park for a week or so, we're going to turn the bus batteries off because we don't want them having any phantom drain and having a low battery when we want to get the bus up and going again. Therefore, we decided to run, oh, it's coming on there. We decided to run some 12-volt house power to the luggage bays. And thanks to these motion-sensitive lights, anytime we open up a luggage bay, reach out, we can get some light. Now, the way we've tested these out here is I've got a 1 meter string light that LED Supply sent us to test it out. We're going to eventually mount this into the ceiling of our luggage bays, and then we'll have these motion sensor switches up on the side wall, so anytime we open a luggage bay, it should trigger it to come on. Another note on the luggage bay lighting with these motion sensitive lights, we're going to have them all on the same 12-volt circuit and a switch to turn all the power off to these motion sensitive lights, because obviously when we're driving around and stuff might move a little bit or just the movement of the bus might set them off. We want to be killing that power so they're not constantly putting a drain on the battery every time they sense anything. We'll probably put that light switch right on the way out the door so I can flip it on and have the motion sensitive lights ready for power every time I'm going to access the luggage bays. So it's been a real tough day. Our eldest cat, Zuri, passed away. She was 19. Bella's been living and with this cat longer than she's lived with any living thing. It's just really hard when someone you love passes away.
Think about me one more time before you go. Someday you'll know. Someday you'll know.
So we came out to a spot in the woods that overlooks an area that we may one day set up a little homestead.
And now you're gone.
So we buried Zuri and Loka's ashes, and Loka was Mella's cat from before I met Mella. Loka had stomatitis, and her and Zuri were such good friends. And if you don't know, stomatitis is when your gums think you're allergic to your teeth, and the only way to treat it is with steroids, and that's not sustainable. So after a couple of years, your body just kind of falls apart. And I just loved that cat. She was so smart, kind, and caring. And I know this is going to be a tough time for Mella. It's just, I guess, a reminder that it's all temporary, and be thankful every day for what we do have, and make sure the people and pets that you have in your life, you know that you love them.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.